You know what's one of the first things that actually got me open to the idea of finding God and reading the Bible and learning about Him? November, December time frame, 2022, I was praying for the first time, mind you, in well over a decade. That's not an exaggeration. I was praying, I felt very stuck. I was praying, I was asking God, like, if you're real, it was one of those prayers. If you're real, please show me. And also, tell me where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do, because I was just in a very lost and confused time. I was in the corporate world. I was in a career that I had no business being. Actually, funny story, I got suspended and then fired just a matter of days and a few weeks after this prayer, which was interesting. And it's funny because God removed me from a place I wasn't supposed to be, because that was a job that I never would have left. I would have been miserable and tried to work it out. But what really, I think it was that got me to start like truly seeking after God was fertility. My 26th birthday, it was the first time I remember being like, yeah. Well, for one, I started looking around the cubicles and stuff where I was at, and it just like snapped for me that I was like, what am I doing here? And I had been at this job, mind you, for like 4 years. I was coming up on my 5-year mark. I was dedicated to it and everything. Look around at the cubicle. What am I doing here? Just like a brain of my, or whatever, switch in my brain flipped. And then anyway, I left that job. I got a different job, which I'm no longer at now. But we started trying to have a baby. We started our fertility journey, which we've been on now officially for 3 years. And you know what's so funny? In that prayer that I prayed for the first time in 10 years, and like some of the ones that came after that, I prayed specifically for patience. God has a sense of humor, right? I prayed specifically for patience, and then I was given a, so far, 3-year-long fertility journey. We got all of our testing done, unexplained infertility. There's nothing wrong with myself, my husband, anything like that. And you know what else I prayed in that time? God, if you give me a child, I'll teach them about you. And the funniest part is, I said, funny, not funny, but funny looking back on, is when I got fired from that job, I was like, okay, God, I hear you loud and clear. So it clicked in my brain like, okay, you're there, but I didn't really have like a relationship with Him yet. And then it's just funny because I'm like, why would God give me a baby right from the get-go if I said I was going to teach the baby about God, if I didn't know about God? Insert really long fertility journey. So in the time of loneliness, in the time of waiting, it's very sad. If you've not been on a trying to conceive journey, a TTC journey is what they call it, for very long, good for you. I'm very happy for you. It is a mind, so much of this with your emotions and your everything. But anyway, I thought, I prayed for patience, didn't I? This might take a while. And then I thought, I told God I would teach my baby about Him, didn't I? And then it's like God just was like, hello, dummy. And I was like, I guess I could fill that time with learning about you so I can teach my baby. And ta-da, that's how I found God, found out who God actually is. For those who don't know, I was raised Mormon, and I might get some flack for this, but Mormon God and Christian God are very different. I found out who God actually is. It's emotional. I got saved. I gave my life to Jesus. And now I'm still learning about him. I didn't think I'd get emotional here, but I'm still learning about him so I can teach my baby. Who I'm going to name, if I get a boy anyways, I'm going to name after John the Baptist. Because one time I was praying and God had me flip open the book. I didn't know where I was going, and it was the story of John the Baptist. And John the Baptist's mother dealt with infertility for a long time before having John. And John was supposed to prepare the way for Jesus. So John was supposed to be born at the exact right time. So if we have a boy, I told God, I wrote it down, and I told God, if we have a son, I'll name him after John. And if we have a daughter, I'm not telling you all that name. I'm keeping that to myself. Yeah. I don't really remember where I was going with the story when I started, but that's the story.